Welcome to your Introduction to After Effects tutorial. Start by opening your After Effects software and start a new composition. You can call it whatever you want. Just going to call this, let's call it PNG animation. Save it. Alright, so now I'm ready to start dropping in my content and then animating it. So bring up your folder that has your pictures in it. I have mine here. And you're going to start by dropping in the one you want behind the rest. So my starry sky is my background, so I'm dropping that in. And you'll see it filled the space. So anything else I drop in needs to go above this one. I'm going to drop these other ones in. Add them in. And you see now that they're on top. I want the bird above the vaporwave so that they're all properly in order. So now I'm going to readjust the sizing so that it's appropriate for the frame. I'm going to start by hitting these little down arrows, and you'll see the scale option. I'm going to scale it. Now I'm going to scale my sun and mountains. And I'm also going to drop the position of it just a little bit for this. And then the bird, I'm going to move the bird out of the way for now. Make it just a little bit smaller. Oops, not that much smaller. Alright, so now that I have my PNGs placed in my window, I'm going to add some animation because right now everything is static. So if I were to go down in my sequence timeline like this, my composition timeline, you can see 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, nothing is changing. So in order to animate it, I'm going to do something called keyframing. Now, the one thing I don't want to move is this sun and mountain landscape. So I'm actually going to animate the sky behind it. In order to animate it, I'm going to start by bringing my playhead to the beginning, like that. And then I'm going to choose to toggle on these little watches. I'm going to do scale, rotation, and position for this particular one. Now I'm going to move it further down, let's say up to here, and I'm going to adjust the scale, position, and rotation. I want to be careful not to have this black space pop up in the corner, so I'm just going to continue to adjust the scale and position to make sure that doesn't happen. Alright, so now it should have some light animation. When I play it back, it needs to render, but if I scrub, you can see that the sky is now moving, which is very cool. That's kind of exactly what you want, or at least what I was trying to accomplish here. So now I'm going to animate the bird. Again, I'm going to choose my file, that's this one for the bird, and in this case, I'm going to move the bird just a little off screen to start the animation. And just like I did before, I'm going to actually just scale position for this one. And this one I'm going to actually give a little more movement to, so I'm going to stop at 5 seconds, move my bird, then I'm going to keep going, move it again, and I'm going to keep going. And just continue to move it, and you'll notice that as I'm moving the bird, it's automatically creating keyframes. That's because I turned on this keyframing ability. So as I continue to move my playhead and move my bird. It's keyframing it. I'm going to do this one off screen so that it looks like it flies off screen. Alright, so I've done my keyframing and now I'm waiting for it to render. You see this green line? Rendering means it's applying my changes so that I'll be able to watch them in real time. So let's see if this works. Now that it's rendered, I'm going to press the space bar to play. And oh hey, check it out, it's moving! Yeah, this is exactly the kind of animation we're looking for. It's got movement, I used keyframes, and I'm noticing that the sky doesn't have as much movement as I want it to. So I'm going to go back to my starry sky. And these keyframes, I'm going to move closer because it's going to animate it faster when I do that. See? But since it stops animating at those keyframes, I'm going to come down and continue to adjust the sky so that it continues to keyframe and animate. Alright, let's see how that looks. Yep, the sky has movement, the bird has movement. Great. That looks just like what I want it to. Alright, the last thing I'm going to do, just because I feel inspired to, is I am actually going to move this vaporwave just a little bit. So I'm going to start the scale and position keyframing and move down. And I'm actually just going to scale a little bit. And as it scales, I'm going to drop it too. So it's going to give it a little bit of movement, just slight, but it's going to be animated. So check it out. That looks pretty cool. Remember to save your work. You definitely want to save as you go. And you can wait for it to render so you can view it. PNG animation. I'm going to save it to my pictures and animation photos. You want to save to your user folder. This is my computer, so I'm saving it to my animation folder. Wicked. Looking good. All right, have fun getting started animating in After Effects. Whee!